grossest visual in this entire movie. I scream, you scream, we all scream for the Welcome to Happy Suffer.
Oh.
It's true, though.
Yeah. We do all scream for
We all scream for the I hope you suffer.
Yeah.
That's true.
This is episode 300 of I Be Suffer. I'm Butter Brickle, which I don't know what that is.
I'm Small Paul.
Aw. I'm
Tuna
the king of
Casera.
ice cream. No, thank you. Don't call children that.
Katie is race car, whatever that kid's name was.
Racer. I know it was
The
like
parents
Tuna,
are like,
Racer,
this kid's
Small Paul,
I like
Heather. I was like,
the
all
parents are like, who would name their kid Tuna? Anyway, Racer, go eat your dinner. Fuck whatever. I was like, okay, come on. We're talking about
You name your kid Tuna Racer.
Yeah. Do you
That's
think
the play.
like if this Tuna's last name is Casera,
Sarah.
well, you think Racer's last name is like I'm trying to think Speed,
Car.
Yeah.
so that when it's
definitely Speed
last
Car.
name, comma
Speed Car
first name, it's
Racer.
Speed Racer.
Yeah.
God, nailed it. We got there.
I see. I'm Mr. Spodak.
Yeah, that checks out.
I can see it.
Katie's
Where
store
is
manager.
Racer?
I don't know who that is in the fucking cast list because I feel like that's not his listed name. Maybe
Yeah, it might be.
I think it's police officers who Racer is.
Yeah, definitely.
Butcher.
Baker, candlestick maker.
God damn it! How come one of us wasn't Happy Doctor?
I am asylum inmate in straitjacket, uncredited.
We're talking about 1995's Ice Cream Man.
Yeah.
Absolute king at his peak, Clint Howard. Clint Howard should have had more starring roles.
Ice
like
cream?
this.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I bet he's fucking
Also that.
real tired of ice cream after this.
So sick of ice cream.
I was extremely done with looking at ice cream after watching this.
He's like, I'm actually lactose intolerant now. Thank you.
Oh my god. Kit and I were talking before you jumped on about how much melted ice cream is on everyone's hands and they just like take the ice cream and start eating it like it's not a problem. That's a real bummer.
Yeah, I hated it.
Really, really knocked this from a 5-star to a 3.5-star movie, if you ask me.
I mean, it is a horror movie, and there's nothing more horrific than that much melted ice cream on your person.
And sticky ice cream hands.
Yeah, ugh.
Who?
Because then, like, he gives you the cone with the napkin on it, and your hand's, like, sticky from the ice cream, and it gets stuck to the napkin, and then you got pieces of paper on your hand, and
Yeah, literally.
it's a bad scene.
Yeah, the one kid that always orders the bomb pop, despite it being a terrible frozen treat, is the only one doing it
Awful.
right, because at least it's fucking
Well,
closed up.
Push
Yeah,
pop,
like-
push pop kid, too.
yeah, I was gonna say in the beginning they're all pretty smart because one of them also orders like a fudge sickle, and I'm like, all right, great, fine, prepackaged, like he's not doing anything goofy to it.
Yeah,
But
there's
then,
no
like-
cockroaches in it.
The
Don't
like
have an eyeball in it.
eyeballs, like the creepier that he gets though, that's when they start ordering what they refer to as quote unquote hard pack.
Yeah, I have a lot of
Absolutely
questions
not.
about what the fuck that means.
I'm like, well, I mean, obviously, yeah. So just bad decisions all around, I would say.
There was that. I don't know what the fuck Butter Brickle is.
It's made up because the ice cream king's name was Buck Brickle. So like, I think he just made it up. It's butter.
So you think it's
butter
like,
flavored ice cream.
honestly,
Yeah.
I'm in.
It's like a toffee. Butterbrickle's a toffee.
Oh,
Gross.
okay. So I guess hard pack is literally just like
ice cream in cartons.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
carton of ice. Why would you
Yeah.
just say I want vanilla ice cream in a cone?
That's
I
inside
don't. I
baseball,
know.
bro.
So like
That's what they call it in the industry. Hard pack.
in
Now you're in the
baseball,
know. What?
He's inside
And I-
baseball.
it sounded like you said that was like inside baseball jargon or whatever you said, and I was like, wait, how did what? Okay.
Yeah. Baseball ice cream.
Yeah. Oh,
oh, wait.
Butterburkle, yeah, is a
With
chocolate
homemade toffee.
chocolate coated toffee for oh, so it's just like probably that's gross. I don't like toffee. Oh my god. Okay, I'll be right back.
I feel all right.
What?
I feel like toffee would just get like fucking super crunchy. Oh, I know what she forgot her soda talk soda.
Oh, okay. I was
like-
like, what's happening?
I feel like toffee would get like really hard when frozen, and like
Yeah, bro, hard pack.
yeah, literally just break your teeth pack.
That's how he gets you.
I'm upset that Katie lied to me and told me this was fake, and now I know it's real.
Yeah. With such confidence, too. It's made up.
Don't you
No,
don't you
no,
guys
it's not.
don't I seem like I just am like an authority on ice cream
I
though?
literally believe everything you tell me. So
Well, good to
You're
know.
the smartest person on this podcast, Katie.
yeah.
That's sad. I'm
Yeah, I'm
I'm-
saying.
Did you have panic and remember your soda talk, and that's why you ran
yes,
up?
I did. Yep.
I got soda
And I've
talk. I'm
been-
drinking Aldi's branded soda, and it's pretty good.
I'm drinking
Oh.
Dr. Pepper. Also
I'm not-
pretty good.
I've never tried Aldi soda.
It's just generic cola.
I've been literally dying to try this and have been waiting to try it. And I can't believe me having to mess with my freaking headphones. I can't believe I'm back to doing this for like 10 minutes. Made me forget, but I've got it.
You know that soda's gonna be gross.
Spider flavored.
Yeah, Spiderberg. For the 300th
Like those
episode, I
Fried
had to fill up
tarantulas.
a soda, Spiderberg soda, and I'm gonna try it. No, I have the creamy coconut Dr. Pepper to try, and I'm so excited.
Oh, damn.
Um,
I feel like it's
Also-
gonna be Dr. Pepper's first sell.
I don't know. Let's find out. It smells as it sounds.
What does that
I don't
mean?
think soda's supposed to make a sound.
Yeah, I'm concerned
No, it
about
smells.
the soda.
It smells how it sounds. It smelled like creamy coconut Dr. Pepper.
Katie, is the soda talking to you?
Uh-oh.
This
They
is
killed her.
actually really good. This might be the best Dr. Pepper I've ever had in my whole life.
That's impossible.
let's not get
Because if you had
crazy.
regular Dr. Pepper,
I
Yeah.
have, and I, as you know, hate Dr. Pepper.
Kit literally
Actually-
has like five
Unbelievable.
boxes of 24
I see
packs
that.
empty in his room.
I do see that. I will say, maybe I don't. It might be an olive situation for me where I've just subjected myself to so much Dr. Pepper that I'm starting to like Dr. Pepper because I liked that Dr. Pepper shake and now I'm liking creamy coconut Dr. Pepper.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Yes. This really tastes like the coconut flavor is really good. And I can envision them making like Dr. Pepper flavored like mounds. That's what this tastes like. It's so good.
Interesting. It just feels like one I know I'm gonna get and have like 8 sips and be like, I don't want this anymore.
I will still
I'm
say
not- I'm
like
not-
Most of those.
I'm not like a massive coconut person. Like I like it in desserts and stuff, but
I love coconut. Like anything coconut I love. I will say like obviously this would be a lot for me to drink the entire thing just because I don't know. I feel like I say that a lot, but I couldn't really even tell you the last time I drank an entire soda. So like it is really good though. Like the coconut is actually pretty subtle, but like there enough and it doesn't taste artificial to me, which is like a big thing. I'm giving this like an 8 out of 10.
damn.
Damn.
Yeah, it's
That's not
very
as good when you consider Dr. Pepper's like a 20 out of 10 though, so
I would say regular Dr. Pepper is like a 4 out of 10, a 5 out of 10 for me.
Unbelievable.
well,
Yeah.
Katie's last
Slander.
episode of I Hope You Suffer.
You know, I had a good run. I'll go out on creamy coconut Dr. Pepper being good
Kit, you gotta buy that jacket.
somehow.
Oh, absolutely.
You can start
I saw it
going.
this morning. Was like
You-
that. That's for me.
You could go to like the fucking whatever the big golf game is. I don't know why it's like blinking on my mind right now.
I don't fucking know. I
But
was gonna hit up the golf club. Just, country club.
Wait, this is not
My
your
members only jacket.
what are these pictures of? What is this?
it's Kit's gaming
Is this No, it is absolutely is not. There's no way.
room. Starting episode 300 with talk about fucking
Listen, I see
pictures
a
in a
United-
group text.
Okay,
no one else
okay.
can see.
However,
Background context, everyone. I don't know how we got onto the topic of me learning about a bunch of Twitch streamers against my will,
oh no.
but I learned who Asmongold is, and he seems like a real fucking piece of shit, and also just like the biggest slob in fucking history. So I texted
really
the group
vile.
pictures of his room. So they're all getting
This
to
is really
experience
gross.
his 90 fucking fast food cups on
while
his desk.
while Katie was struggling to get her headset to work, Kit and I were talking about how like anytime you see some dude Twitch streamer with like some insane amount of viewers, his room looks like that. But then you see like any like woman Twitch streamer and they have the most elaborate lighting, gaming setup,
The most like
Like in a
aesthetically
disc.
pleasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And
a
it's just
disco room,
a-
there's neon lights
a
everywhere.
Yeah.
dude buried in fucking
This-
McRib boxes.
Yeah, this guy's fucking sitting there and cockroaches are climbing all over him. Like,
So
that's not a joke. That really happened.
yeah, that doesn't surprise me because I'm looking in this background. There's a United States Postal like box that you get when you just like go to the post office and you have so much mail, they give you one of those boxes. There's like multiple like packs. There's 2 Dr. Pepper ones, right?
Oh no, the big
There's
problem for me is the
Chipotle
the
container. Back there, God only knows what could even be in that. Yeah, McRib, and I want to know when this was taken because there is in fact a McRib cup, which as we know is sold a limited time. There's like containers of, I don't know if that's queso or if that's like mashed potato bowl.
Oh, there's multiple though.
Like, sir,
I hope
if
it's
you
just bowls of
just
queso.
get a big trash can, like why? He literally has
throw
a
a thing
desk,
away when you're done with it.
a desk completely dedicated to fast food cups. What's up, y'all? It's
Chaos.
me. It's your boy, as
I saw that too.
you, sir. And then just like those huge packs of like family, like little chip bags that you take for your lunch.
We're going,
Yeah,
Just
like party packs.
all over the place.
we're going
Party variety packs.
we're going into the
Woof.
next phase of the podcast where we become we start a
We-
feud with some fucking popular Twitch streamer.
Oh God.
Sir, there's just like absolutely nothing that you do as a computer streamer person that could like make this okay. This is like vile. I can like I
Oh,
would
I see.
rather be working in the ice cream truck
I see the
than
fucking
be in this room.
the mail thing you're talking about, and that's somehow maybe the most upsetting part of this.
The mail thing.
Yeah.
Jeez, gross.
It's a nightmare out there.
It's pretty cool. And then
This-
I'm sure that dude probably has like a very put upon girlfriend of some kind somehow.
There's no way he has a
Woof.
girlfriend.
No. If he does and you're listening, please leave. There's no way.
No need.
No.
Bad times.
Also, I want to go back to this Butterbrickle thing where this where this vlog has the tagline "the best dessert ever in the history of the world." Number 1, never heard of it. Number 2, absolutely it's not.
Well, you've heard of it after you watch this movie.
Never heard of it before. For you to be calling it the best whatever. But yeah, no, I don't like toffee, so
It doesn't like necessarily sound bad to me. My issue is it feels like toffee would get so fucking hard.
oh yeah. Definitely.
I'll stick with whatever the fuck Ben and Jerry's is making that's vegan.
I don't know, actually. I'm sure.
The So Delicious vegan Snickerdoodle ice cream, still the best ice
Oh,
cream of all time.
they make a Snickerdoodle. It's not out all the time, but they make a Snickerdoodle coffee creamer that is literally
Oh yeah,
delicious.
I feel like
So
my
good.
work usually has a Snickerdoodle one all the time, or
Yeah,
not.
it's so good.
ShopRite did, not the one I'm at now.
Yeah.
But some real weird coffee creamer flavors.
Oh, yeah. I'm not like
You don't want
I'm
cinnamon
usually
toast crunch coffee creamer?
no, and you know what? I do try some every now and then just as like a novelty. Like Toll House came out with a line of like cookie flavors, so I tried chocolate chip cookie, which I thought was pretty good. But like I'm really just like a splash of cream in black coffee kind of girl. Like if I get like I like flavored coffee if it's like not too sweet, if it's like an iced coffee, but I'm not buying like they're just the problem with for me with like flavored coffee creamers is like number one, they're freaking huge. I want just like a splash, and that thing's definitely going bad before I have a chance to use it. And then also I feel like a lot of them, the flavoring is like so artificial
Yeah.
for like hazelnut or whatever. But the So Delicious, all of them that I've tried have been really good. Um, but yeah.
Anytime I see anyone buy one of those ones that's not like just like a sweet cream or like French vanilla, like one of those like weird extravagant ones, I'm like, you don't like coffee. You
Yeah,
just like
no.
sugar.
No.
Just
And
drink a fucking
actually,
soda.
I mean, like, kind of, yeah. I mean, I'm not, you know what, teach their own, like what you know,
No,
love,
no. I'm
but
taking
to
a
me,
hard
I'm,
stance on this. Those people are
that's
monsters.
fine. Go ahead. I prefer just like syrup, like
Just
actual
syrup,
coffee syrup.
straight syrup.
Yeah,
I
just maple
prefer
syrup.
maple syrup in my mouth from the bottle.
I mean,
That's it.
I agree. I
Skip
back that.
every beverage. It's just maple syrup.
Just put some butter, maple syrup in your mouth, and just the tiniest bit of pancake.
Yep.
Man, I want
Yep.
pancakes now.
I
All right. I hope you suffer
I
the
won't.
why. That's
Yeah,
episode
see ya.
300. We're gonna go eat pancakes.
Woo! I want some waffles to
I think
for
we're doing
myself.
biscuits and gravy for dinner. I'm very
Oh, I
excited.
love biscuits and gravy.
All right. Let's talk about ice cream. Uh,
I'm
let's-
already hungry, so this is going to be a rough go
did-
of it.
Had we all seen this before?
No.
Yes.
Okay, so when I brought it up to Katie, you were just like, "Oh yeah, I think Ice Cream Man would be like perfect for 300 or whatever." So I just assumed like you had.
I was
seen it.
guessing.
Um,
No.
I mean, it is.
I've
It's
seen
very
the
much
cover.
like how we did. Did we do Doctor Giggles for 200?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
think
so
so.
like this is like I feel like would be a pretty perfect double feature with Doctor Giggles.
Yeah. I will, you know what, when I was watching it, first of all, I've only ever seen the cover and I knew Clint Howard was in it, so I was like, well, I feel like I pretty much knew what to expect, like, going into it. But as I was watching it, like, this was fine. Like, I don't have any strong feelings about it, to be very honest with you. But I did have the thought that, number one, yeah, great double feature with Dr. Giggles. However, Ice Cream Man, Dr. Giggles, I feel like Ice Cream Man is no Dr. Giggles.
Oh yeah,
Do you know
Dr.
what I mean?
Giggles is I feel like way more interesting movie, but I feel like
Yeah.
every time I rewatch Ice Cream Man, I like it a little more. And I think like Clint Howard is really fucking good in it.
Yeah.
And I
for
kind
sure.
of wish he got more like leading a bad guy roles instead of just sort of the like cameo tiny role
Yeah.
shit he usually does.
This weird
Yeah.
guy that shows up.
Like he's
Yeah.
really like creepy and like does interesting things in this. And I just think like the problem through most of it is it takes too long to get to like the real sort of slashery stuff in it.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
like it like the first I would say like first half is like hit or miss on being kind of boring and kind of fun. Like it's like half and half, and then like the last half is pretty great. But there's just a lot of like setup of these kids and then just like making sure you understand that Clint Howard is creepy, as if you can't just look at him and be like, yeah, this is dude is
Yeah.
obviously a creep.
Well, literally the first scene like is more than enough to be like, hey, this guy's
Yeah,
pretty
oh, yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
weird.
I like
Something is going on with him.
it's like they try to do that thing of like trying to make it seem like it's a mystery, and it's very clearly like
Yeah,
from the start, but like
not
they
a
just kind
mystery.
of like go a little too long with like setup stuff. But I don't know, it's still like probably
I
one of my favorite of like that 90s period like slashes. It feels kind of like a Tales from the Crypt episode that
mhm.
was like expanded to be full length a little bit, because like the score is terrible. It's like the cheesiest, like almost stock music type score, but it kind of works for it and making it feel like I don't know, like I guess overall it feels so fucking 90s.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I would say
like
so.
I think like not even like in a bad way. It's just like I don't know, like like it just to me it's very reminiscent of like I said, Tales from the Crypt, and it like the shit you would catch at like 2 a.m. on like USA Up All Night, or obviously like Joe Bob covered it on like Monster Vision or whichever one of the shows he was doing at the time. Like, and it's like I don't know, I have this real soft spot for it because of that. Like, it just makes me think of being like 14 and catching some weird fucking like Z grade slasher on cable TV.
Wow, all the way down to Z.
I mean, it's not like
I'm just kidding.
it's clearly not up there with like other kind of better slashers, but I also like I think it makes me like it more than like I would probably rewatch this over say like half of like the Friday the 13th franchise. Like
Sure.
I like I don't know. I'm when I like I've talked about it on here, like I'm not like a massive slashers person, but like when I do, it's usually leaning towards something like this or like Dr. Giggles or like one of those like really weird someone took a fucking job title and turned it into a slasher movie type thing.
Right.
Or Leprechaun. All Leprechaun movies, all bangers except Origin.
Thanks a
Um
lot, WWE.
yeah. Just like
Wow.
I don't know how you fucked that up that badly. I know we did an entire episode on it, but it's just it always boggles my mind that you're like you have somebody whose entire character at the time was playing a leprechaun, and you got the rights to the Leprechaun movies, and then you just put him in a weird monster suit, and he's not a leprechaun. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Just
Very weird.
thank God Vince McMahon is dead. They can't make those decisions anymore. Died shitting on the toilet.
Oop, hate to see it.
Yep. All right. So, Kit, what's your take on Ice Cream Man?
It's fine. I mean, I think you nailed it in that the first half is just kind of like a little too slow for its own good, which is wild for a like 80-minute movie.
Right.
But the back half where, Clint Howard finally kind of lets loose and starts murdering people and even does so in like not very ice creamy ways. Like he sandwiches that guy's head in the waffle iron for some reason.
Rocks.
Like,
Well, he makes his own waffle cones.
I
yeah,
think
that's true.
I think the biggest problem is like he kills people in the first half, but it's all off camera.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so like you don't actually get like the cool like iconic shit like the fucking head in the ice cream cone.
I'd say the head in the ice cream cone, like I kind of do think that it is worth the build up to that
Yeah.
because it's such a fucking funny reveal.
That
And
and like
the cone is
puppets.
so big.
yeah.
I think even if you just added like you don't even have to see him like stab the fucking dude picking up trash in the park. Like specifically, like you don't even have to have gore, but just showing like him like walk towards the guy, and maybe seeing the guy like react as he's stabbed with that thing or something. You just need like something to show that there's like some deaths happening outside of just sort of being alluded to for the first like 40 minutes.
So I'll get into kind of like what makes this movie not work for me like going off of that specific thing that happened, because like immediately, like that groundskeeper or whatever he was, they like make it seem like maybe he is going to attack like that one child first or whatever. And so I think that the reason we don't see the ice cream man kill him is because they were doing that thing where they tried to make it a murder, like a mystery as to like that little boy. That little boy goes missing, and then they're like, "Oh my God, he killed the little boy," and then it turns out that he actually killed the gardener. That's fine, but like, I guess what I don't get overall, because it's not explained in any way, is like why. Like, it would be one thing for him to be kind of like a misunderstood, like, let's just like start by saying, spoilers for this movie from 1995. There's no like children deaths in it. And so in the very beginning, they almost made it seem like maybe like he's a little off, right? This movie is like almost entirely Clint Howard like emoting and like making creepy faces and just being fucking sloppy and wacky in his like ice cream truck. But like I thought that with that gardener disappearing, that maybe they were framing it to be like, oh well, he's like trying to protect the children by saving them from like this molester, or like the one kid's dad who was like an adulterer or whatever, like making the streets innocent and safe for these kids. But then it just kind of like doesn't ever pan out to be that way. And I guess like throughout the entire movie, there's like these scenes of Clint having quote unquote like therapy treatments.
Yeah, like flashbacks to him being in like an asylum or whatever.
Right. But it's like one time the guy's a clown, they're injecting his head with green goop or whatever, and those like flashbacks.
Gotta say, that needle goes real deep, and I'm not.
Oh my God, so
into
far.
It is like a comically huge prop needle looking thing.
It's like your index finger going into your brain.
Yeah, if you're like Jack Skellington, like it is huge. And I feel like what is going on with that, we don't ever get an explanation, because like, are they trying to say, I guess I don't understand what they did to him to make him decide that he's just gonna like murder people for no reason.
I mean, I think it's like a trauma thing where I feel like the thing that breaks him, that is like it isn't fully explained, but like whatever happened to like the king of ice cream before him that he took over for, like, is I think supposed to be the thing that snapped him, that like if this was made now would be like a 2.5 hour A24 style movie.
Long pan of somebody making ice cream.
But like, I think its biggest flaw is like it's trying to have a foot in like both worlds of being a goofy slasher movie and also trying to play it seriously.
Right.
And I think if it leaned more into the sort of like Fred Olen Ray, like cheap full mood-ish type like 90s horror movie and just was like a little goofier, I think it would work better. But like, yeah, like Katie said, there's like a scene where like they are kind of trying at first to make it seem like maybe it's not the Ice Cream Man, but it's like the movie's called Ice Cream Man. Like you're pretty sure from the fucking get-go.
Yeah.
The cover is him holding a head in an ice cream cone.
But like, and it's also like, I don't know, like go a little harder, have him kill one of the kids, like at least one of them.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like I feel like if there just needs to be, I think like, I don't know. I think it's just like one of the trivia things was that the script was written in like 3 days, which it's like, yes, I could see that. Like it just kind of, it seems like someone just, like I said earlier, had the idea of like, well, let's just take some weird sort of profession and make it a slasher movie. Because you can figure this is around the same time as Dr. Giggles and like The Dentist and like all of that shit happening. And it's just, I don't think it has like quite the reputation that either of those do. And it's like, you know, it's clearly not as good, I think, as either The Dentist or Dr. Giggles is. But like, I also kind of love it, so.
Sure.
Like,
I mean, like,
there's just something about like a real dumb kind of like turn your brain off cheesy 90s slasher that works for me, so.
Well, what I was gonna say is that like with Dr. Giggles, I feel like and I felt this way with this is like a weird comparison, but I think maybe people will get it, that Christmas Evil movie we did,
Mm.
where like you're dealing with a character who like Ice Cream Man, absolutely no stakes are involved in this movie. Like emotionally, you just watch it and like it kind of is what it is. Like we don't know what's going on, like I said, with like the therapy stuff, or like I don't know if it's like maybe you can construe it to be kind of like a toxic positivity type situation where like, because they're always like, oh, have a happy day, only happy day, smile. He's wearing like a fucking sunflower choker and like getting ice cream and stuff like that. And so then if you see something like in the world that's not happy and great, that like maybe that's what's like the disconnect with him snapping and like trying to get rid of it is my guess. But I think they just don't push it enough for me to like understand like the whole point of it. But then with like Dr. Giggles, I felt like you're worried for Dr. Giggles' situation, even though, you know, the stuff that he's doing or whatever. Like I felt that that movie was like, of course, like you're saying, like a little bit more serious and like emotionally driven. And this is just kind of like, oh, head puppets,
Well,
woohoo.
I think even just coming down to the like the fact that like I think just the way like two characters are portrayed, like Dr. Giggles is a very over the top kind of like you see it and you're like, yeah, okay, like this dude's gonna be like stuck in my brain for the rest of my life, sort of thing. And like as much as like I really enjoy Clint Howard's performance in this, he's very just like monotone and kind of just like there throughout most of it, where like Dr. Giggles is very over the top and giggling the entire time and like making puns and doing that kind of shit. And like,
Oh,
but like, I don't know, there's also things in like Ice Cream Man that I find like interesting that I wish were expanded on more, which is like him and fucking Small Paul like bonding and stuff like that. That like I feel like if you cut out, I kind of wish they would just do like the asylum stuff as just the opener, and then
Yeah.
like didn't cut back to it until like maybe like towards the finale, and just had like maybe one or two more kills and like just more like weird character stuff with him that isn't just like, oh, he was in an asylum at one point, here's a giant needle going in his brain.
Yeah, I guess I feel like maybe like to further that point, like the movie would have focused more on just him and like his life versus like these children
I think you need like
and the
one.
cops. Like
I think you have,
I don't know.
oh no, like the best part of this movie, literally maybe one of the greatest lines in slashers, and I can't remember it verbatim, but it's when the cops are asking about his garden and he's like, I like chopped up police officers in here, it's good fertilizer. Ice
They
Cream
don't
Man,
respond to it at
ACAB,
all.
fucking king.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. That scene was very weird to me because like they're like, well, we'll get to it. Let's just any other thought. Oh, and I will say, if you are looking for a movie, so you're saying like, yeah, they're just basically like, oh, let's just take any profession and like turn it into like a slasher. Fine. There are almost no ice cream puns in this movie, so if you came here for that, you will be disappointed. There's like
Yeah,
one,
there's,
and
the
it
brain
doesn't
freeze
make any
one.
sense. And
That's
it
the only
doesn't
thing I
make
can
any
think of.
sense.
No, because
That
he like
didn't-
stabs her in the head, like
And the
up through the
under
jaw.
up to the jaw, and like
I mean,
I don't
it makes sense if you understand that ice pick was frozen.
know. He needed to have stabbed it in her brain and then
Or
said, "What
like
about?"
stabbed her with like an
Stab her with an
icicle.
ice cream cone. Yeah.
Or like, and that was like their attempt at it, and it failed. And I was extremely disappointed.
If he had shot her in the head with a shotgun filled with ice cream,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like just ice creamed her head off.
It's just the end of like a
Ice
ice cream
creamed her
cone that's
head
got
off.
like the fucking chocolate like frozen in the bottom, so they're like
Oh,
hard.
yeah.
That's what, yeah, he's shooting those.
Yeah. Hard
A
pack.
drumstick. No.
It's like a movie that kind of like you can tell was made like at a time and very, very much just sort of like, oh, we could make like a quick buck kind of off this thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah.
Like
for sure.
kind of shortchanges it a little bit because I do feel like the performances in it are all pretty fun. It just kind of like I don't know. It feels like there could have been maybe like 2 more drafts of the script and like really like nailed it. And but I don't know. I still like it. Like the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray for it rocks because they put all of the Monster Vision stuff on it. So you can like watch it as an old like Monster Vision episode, which is pretty fun. And I wish more things that like aired like that would do that.
Yeah, I feel like that would be fun. And I will say that like even though there's not really a lot of like on-screen like kills or gore, I still felt like the stuff that they did with there's a lot of severed heads in this.
All the stuff with the severed heads
pretty
is
fun.
Fucking
like,
great.
It's not like obviously you can tell it's a prop, right? But like it's pretty fun still.
Like, they look so good.
They look
for a no budget movie.
For sure.
They border that line of looking incredible and also terrible at the same time. That like rocks. Like when they're doing the puppetry, the heads and like even the ice cream cone, the heads are so oversized that they don't look real, but they also look amazing.
Yeah. Really spooky.
More than anything, I think this movie is just anti-ice cream because every goddamn shot of ice cream is the grossest thing I've ever seen.
So gross.
Yeah,
like I currently have it on in the background, and there's like a scene where like after he's kidnapped Small Paul, where he's like mixing something in like a vat with his hand that is pink and turns green, and I'm like, I hate this.
So here's my question about that. So essentially, in order to make like ice cream or like gelato in a machine like that, you do use like a dry base. And so like, are they trying to say, because like,
I don't think they're trying to say anything. I think they're just like showing something because they can.
But are they trying to say that like he kills people and then grinds up their bones into the dust to use as quote unquote fertilizer? Because the base that he's like, the stuff that he's putting into the ice cream in that scene, he's also like spreading on his garden. So like, what is that?
Going to go ahead and say I don't think they thought about it at all, and we're just like, let's just throw some colored liquid in this thing so it looks like he's making something.
Yeah,
that's the way I'm
the texture also in that thing that he's showing Small Paul to make is like vile. All of it is gross.
Every
really
goddamn
disgusting.
time I see any ice cream in this, I'm like, I don't want to eat ice cream ever again.
No, it's all unappetizing. Like it's all melted. It's weird colors.
And that's the thing. Like Kit and I were talking.
Cockroaches.
Kit and I were talking about.
The cockroaches,
like,
mice.
Every time they also show someone eating it, like it's all over their face, like they're fucking like 2-year-old. And I'm just like,
vile.
I hate this. It's melted all over their hands, and I'm like, this is not how people eat.
I think in 1995 it is. I think you're just not misremembering.
Everything about it just makes me assume this is how that the Twitch streamer eats his ice cream.
Definitely, yes. Then he doesn't wash his hands. He clickety-clacks on his little computer. Yeah.
That's good. That's good jerking off lube right there.
That is vile. That is the worst thing that you could have said.
That's why I said
it. I'm just gonna say, like, I've never even heard of this streamer, but I feel like I've gleaned all I need to from his little area.
All Kid had to say was
100%.
Twitch streamer, and I was out.
I mean, right. Okay, so before anything else.
Yeah, Ice Cream Man.
Okay.
Very good.
Ice Cream Man, here we go. I will say, really the only trigger warning in this is death of an animal. It's off screen, but you do see some...
I disagree. Did you hear us talk about the way the ice cream looks? I feel like that's a trigger warning.
Okay,
the death was off screen, but him tossing it into a meat grinder wasn't.
It's not, right. So, and obviously that's a fake dog part of it, but like, if you're... Listen, okay. What? Alright, there's like okay. Alright, so this movie starts... There's some like visual stuff in this movie that like really just bothered me, I will say. If you have there, and all of it has to do with like him rubbing ice cream on dead bodies before handing it to people for absolutely no reason. Like I don't understand.
It's called flavor, Katie.
woof. Everybody in this town would be extremely sick.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you would not be going back for another hard
The
pack.
way I assume is like, well, number one, okay, I obviously will talk about that scene. No child would refer to it as a hard pack. A kid
Oh,
would
no.
literally be like, "Give me vanilla ice cream in whatever
I would have
form
a
you have
scoop.
it, or whatever." Not like,
Like, in any capacity, I could understand you saying, like, if you're trying to buy, like, a whole pint, like, I don't think, but still, somebody would just be like, could I have a pint of this? Like, you're not, whatever, who cares? I think they just were using it to be,
to show they knew terms
to
for
have a
ice
joke.
cream.
Yeah.
Because this
Well,
is
also, I
pre-Google,
think that,
so like,
I,
So they called
I,
it 95.
literally somebody was like, somebody had some real knowledge of ice cream.
well, and I'm wondering too, because I think no, maybe he does say it. The first time that I like registered somebody was saying it, it was when that like mistress girl was like, Can you deliver? I want a hard pack or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, is she just like making like a entendre?" But then he was like, "The hard pack's Rocky Road," and I was like, "Excuse me?" Anyway,
Yeah,
okay.
it's got nuts in it.
What does he say? Oh, I don't need nuts. They give me gas.
Yeah, I feel like
Okay.
there's a couple times
All right,
somebody says
10-year-old.
something about gas in it that I'm like, weird.
Oh, somebody called somebody like a fart trap or something.
Okay. I think that we actually should make more kids talk like they're old people in movies.
I mean,
I've
I
been
agree as
convinced.
somebody that likes
Like-
Saved by the Bell.
a fucking like 9-year-old saying, "It gives me bad gas." Like,
I was like,
that's fucking wonderful.
Let's just go the Saved by the Bell
My-
route. Have them only talk about like the Beach Boys.
Yeah. How achy their knees are. I think there's a
"Storms are
storm
coming,
rolling
my
in.
knees acting
All right,
up again."
all right, here we are. So we should make a slasher. We'll figure out a fucking job title. Like, I don't know,
Garbage. Oh, no.
Geek Squad Killer.
Weak squad.
And like,
Leak Squad.
it'll all be, the entire cast will just be like children playing old people. And there we go.
Makeup, old people makeup or no?
Nah, we'll just put them. We'll just
All
put
right.
them in like a flannel shirt and
I don't-
like pants pulled
I
up
don't
too
think-
high.
I don't think they
Tucked
even need to
into
play
their
old
pants.
people.
Just talk like
They're
old
just-
people.
They're just kids that talk like old people, so
Well-
everyone watching's like, "What the fuck
Well,
is going on with these kids?"
We could literally just steal like Milton Berle, like fucking quotes and shit.
They'll be like, "It's 5 p.m. Time for dinner at the Denny's."
One of them, like
They're-
inexplicably, is carrying a cigar the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're on the playground talking about the dinner special at Furs.
Just like it's like 2025, but they're talking about Johnny Carson.
I was up late last night watching Johnny Carson.
Oh man, this could be a perfect movie.
Couldn't get to sleep with my back acting up.
They'll talk about Preparation H for some reason
I was
and
literally
shit.
gonna say Pearl had to rub Preparation H on me. Yeah, but cut this out so no one will know, and then they'll go to watch our movie and they'll be like, "What in the actual fuck?" It'll
No one's
either
prepared.
be
It would
so
It would be the
It'll take
perfect movie to do like one of the most vague trailers for. So that when people watch it, they're just like, wait, what the fuck is happening?
yeah. Don't put any of the don't put any of the kids talking, so nobody knows until they watch the movie.
Alright, we're in.
All right.
Trademark, I have to suffer.
Yeah, trademark whatever the hell it is that will be.
I told you, Geek Squad the movie, or Geek Squad Killer.
Well, and I also can't wait because like none of the kids are gonna know anything about technology,
Yeah.
but they're in the Geek Squad.
They could just like
Yeah.
sit around and bitch about like their grandkids being on their iPads all the time, watching the YouTubes.
Yeah, watching their YouTube streamers get cockroached.
Back in my day,
Um,
kids used to play outside coming out of like the
Hoop
mouth of
and
a
stick.
7-year-old.
Where's your hooping stick?
Oh my god.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, trademark all that. So the ice cream man starts in black and white, and it's just like panning over this kind of like idyllic street. And then there's like an ice cream man looking all jolly getting out of the back of his ice cream truck. and then a car just pulls up and they just fucking
Just mob
blast
style, like
him.
old like 1920s mob style murder
Yeah,
him.
literally shoot him up, and they shoot the ice cream man dead, is what I said. There's a little boy who casually is just sitting on the curb by his dead body eating ice cream, as the mom runs up and is like freaking out, because she's like, oh my God, Gregory. He literally has like blood spattered on his face, and he's just sitting there like eating ice cream, and
Unfazed.
she's like, oh my God, are you okay? Whatever, like fussing, making a fuss.
Look, a
And he
good butter
says-
brick will do that to you.
No.
It's true.
Who's gonna bring the ice cream, mommy? Is what he says. This is the conundrum. Then the
Important
music.
questions being asked.
I want to know who's gonna bring the ice cream. When's the ice cream coming out? Menacing music. It happens. And now we know that we're in present day because the rest of the movie is in color, in case you were wondering. We do get a shot of this ice cream truck, and they do a pretty good job of pointing this out, but I'm just going to say this now. On the back of the truck, instead of saying, like, watch out for children, it just says, watch out, children. Well,
Good advice.
it is. Just watch out. So, there's a little boy who I think his name is Roger, or maybe last name is Rogers. He plays like a pretty small role in this, so I don't, who cares? Roger. His name's Roger. Orders a orange push pop, and this is where I had like a memory of like the Flintstones orange push pop, and I was like, oh my
Oh,
God,
man.
those were so
Those
freaking
elite.
good.
Elite
But then-
tier ice cream.
So I was gonna say, do you guys remember? Oh my God, do you guys remember the Flintstones orange push pops? Later in the movie, he holds one up, and it is blurry, but it is actually a Flintstones push pop, and I was like, ugh, what I would not give for one right now. Delicious. We're Flintstones kids. Flintstones vitamins, push pops. They really had the market on delicious like childhood treats.
Yeah, those vitamins.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would eat a whole bottle of those right now.
Yeah.
I bet they probably
Catch
did.
up on years worth of vitamins I've been missing out on.
Yep.
I haven't taken a vitamin in 35 years. I should probably just take this whole bottle to catch up.
I think it'll
Yeah.
be fine. I think it's fine. That's how it works. So,
My bones will be so good afterwards.
your knee won't hurt when it's gonna storm anymore. So, go ahead. So Clint Howard's name is Gregory Tudor in this, which, no offense to any Gregory Tudors out there, really sounds like a serial killer name to me. But I of course just called him Clint Howard the whole time, so it is what it is. I will also say that like this ice cream truck looks more like it used to be like a I don't know, like what you would consider like a UPS type truck, except there's like a hole cut out of it. And then there's like bars covering the top half, which look so scary because Clint Howard is always just like shoving his face against them and like just like standing at the most awkward angles. And then there's like a tiny little slot with a wooden plank for him to take change off of,
Mhm.
which
That he
Seems-
uses his nails to do.
that he literally like gross. Okay, we'll get to that. We're right there. So he orders the Flintstones orange push pop. Clint Howard puts the push pop like out the window and the
Sorry not to interrupt. I just saw the back of his van and I realized that he it's like literally painted over badly the 4 for watch out for children.
yeah. So he is looking out for them. It's all right on the back of his truck. It's like spray painted out in like a different color blue. He puts the push pop through the window and the kid goes to grab it and he pulls it back in and they do this little like game and he's basically like, you didn't say please. And like, yeah, I feel like obviously manners are important, but like maybe just be a little less creepy when you're trying to like teach children about it or whatever.
Yeah.
So the kid finally says, can I have an orange push pop, please? And so he hands it to him. The kid drops the change on the little wooden plank. Clint Howard literally makes a claw with his hand and scrapes it across the wood to get the coins. Like a rake. Like his hand looks like a rake. And not only that, but his hands are like wet and leaving like perspiration on the wood. And I was like, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. We're like 2 minutes into the movie. So he rakes the money into just like an open bucket, and there's like cockroaches, and like it pans into the inside of the ice cream truck, and there's like cockroaches in the bucket with the change. There's mice. There's like randomly also containers of ice cream back there. It looks like a freaking mess. It is terrifying looking. This is when he tries to get one of the kids to order some of his hard pack, which, as we said, is containers of ice cream that you would scoop into a cone versus like a prepackaged ice cream. And this is when he says, this is Tuna. Tuna says, I don't eat nuts. They give me gas.
Fucking Tuna.
I don't
Classic.
also kind of really understand what's going on with Tuna in general, because like I guess they're using him as kind of like a plot point to like later on get like Heather by herself because he's like not as active as the other kids, but he's like very obviously wearing a bunch of like fake. It looks like a pillow. It looks like literally they just like put a pillow under his shirt and are like making fun of him because he's like
no, that's literally
bigger than the other kids.
Literally, he's wearing a pillow under his shirt throughout the movie.
Okay, I'm saying it looks like
Yeah,
it
like-
because it's terrible.
Nah, rocks.
Anyways, this is the kid that they called Tuna, which also I hate. This is when the kids get their ice cream. Thankfully, like I said, everybody here orders like pre-wrapped ice cream. And then the kids talk about how creepy Clint Howard is, of course, and race to the park where they meet a boy that they call Small Paul. Everyone has a nickname here.
I mean, that
So they run up-
it feels like kids would like all have nicknames for each other, but they all have the worst nicknames.
Yeah. Okay, so the kid that they call Tuna trips and falls into the sandbox and drops his creamsicle in the sand, and then he still eats it. This is real, a thing, obviously, with children. This is why kids get worms, okay? So just don't let your kids eat. Don't even go in sand, by the way. It's full of bacterial. Paul is reading a book called The Pied Piper, and they basically are talking about like they're like, what do you even call that? It's not a carousel.
I
The
think
spinny
it's
thing?
Just, I think it's still just called like a carousel.
Okay. Well, it's just like that cylinder that has like you hold on and then somebody will like kick to spin and then you like hold on to try and not fall off. They're kind of like laying down there and like talking about the Pied Piper story, which is like an old fairy tale about this a piper, a piper comes into town and they're
a
like
piper.
get a piper. They get rid of the rats, the Pied Piper. And he goes boop, 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 and like plays and like lures the rats away, and then the town doesn't want to pay him for services rendered, and so he like this is just like sort of where they're talking about the story. And this is when the gardener, who was like given looks to Small Paul earlier, or maybe it was the other kid, I can't remember, it doesn't matter, he's given looks to the children,
Tall Paul.
comes up and is like spinning it for them and saying menacingly like, the end of that story is they don't want to pay the Pied Piper, so now he steals and drowns the children. And they're just like, haha, no way.
I know, and
then
Small
they,
Paul's like, I'm pretty sure that's not how the story ended.
like, I don't think the kids died. And he's like, oh, pretty sure they did. And they're just like, hee hee, and then they run away.
Come back, Paul.
This is when, so yeah, like later that night, Roger, who is the kid that bought the orange push pop in the beginning of the movie, is on a swing, and the gardener guy is there, groundskeeper. He has like one of those poles that he's like stabbing garbage with or whatever, and the sound of the stabbing garbage,
Stabbing a garbage with.
yeah, gives Clint Howard a like PTSD of the time we were talking about where somebody takes a very huge long needle and stabs it into his temple and squirts him full of green
Yeah, you gotta
goo.
get that Slimer goo in you.
Yeah, he doesn't like it though, because he's like, well, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy. So, but essentially, like, what happens is like it just cuts away to like the swinging by itself, and so like at this point they did a pretty good job of like we don't really know what happened at this moment because oh, Clint's like having this like recalled memory and he's like very obviously like messed up about it, right? And so the kid walks up and is like, "Hey, Ice Cream Man, are you okay?" And he goes, "Yeah, little boy, Ice Cream Man feels very happy." I hated it.
Fair.
And he reaches for a knife behind him, and this is where it like cuts off, right? So that night, there's like this. Mm, no, that's later. This is just well, there's like a bunch of like in between scenes with the kids that like talking to like their parents and whatnot that I just like cut out because it's like not really important or whatever. But there's like a scene with the kids. Then that night, Clint Howard pulls up to like what we later find out is a old ice cream parlor where the ice cream king that he saw get murdered in the beginning, I guess, like used to have like his like ice cream shop. And so we find out that he's basically like like that's where he's like making the ice cream and then like maybe he's going to reopen it or whatever. And we meet Nurse Wharton, who maybe used to be his actual nurse. Like once we get to the actual like asylum later, everything really I'm like questioning if stuff was actually real or not. I don't know. But she's basically just like you know, they're like talking through her window and this is a scene where he just like kills her dog for barking at him. This actually, he does have a push pop and he pushes it up and there's a knife inside. So that's a pretty good ice
Look, I'm
cream
just gonna
weapon, I
say,
feel.
Ice Cream Man, good possible VP pick for Trump.
So yeah, so he kills the dog off screen, but you hear it whimper and that like triggers the nurse to be like, "Oh, did you hear my dog out there?" And he's basically just like, "Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. Everything's fine here." And then we see him like grinding up the dog's body, like again, very obviously a fake, but like, you know. And she's like, "Where's my dog?" And he's like, "I don't know. What happened? Dingy or something like that." The dog's name
Their
was.
relationship is strange, and I wish they like
I
expanded
yeah.
on it a little more.
Yeah, because she herself is like very interesting. She's just like, "Oh, what a happy boy." And I'm like, "Is he?
She's
He seems
she's
deranged."
basically what our idea for our horror movie is, where it's blatantly like a 20-something-year-old actress playing an old lady.
Yeah,
It's just like they put
that's
like a
fair.
wig and like a fucking gown on her. And it's like,
Yeah,
look at
they're
this
like,
old
"Put the
lady.
Shaw on. She's so old." Yeah. Um, so there's like this like weird scene at the dinner table at Racer's house where his brother Jacob is just going on about how stupid a nickname Tuna is for that one kid. And they get a call. This is basically when everybody realizes that Roger, the boy from the beginning, is missing. And the mom's like, "I don't want you going out at night." And she's like, "Oh, mom." Um, so well, the next day or whatever, the cops are talking to Clint Howard about the missing boy, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know, never seen him, don't know anything." And they're like, "Okay." And the cops order a rocky road, which again, we get a pan inside the truck, and there's just like open containers of ice cream everywhere. There's just like random body parts and shit. There's mice again rolling around, cockroaches and whatnot. Um, he also has a pair of eyeballs on the counter that he takes like a melon baller and like scoops out a little piece of an eyeball and puts it on the ice cream cone. And in this scene, it's like a very small piece, a white piece out of like the middle of an eyeball, and he puts it on the cone. But then once the cop starts eating it, they show a close up of him just like tonguing around a piece of eyeball in his mouth, and it's like huge. It's like half an eyeball. You see the iris, and I was like, I mean, I guess maybe there's more. There's like multiple eyeballs inside, but like this close up of this man tonguing around an eyeball that's like covered in ice cream. There's like ice cream all over his mouth. It was like literally so vile.
It's pretty gross.
Very gross. And I guess he eats it. He doesn't seem to be confused. And then he says like, he's like, oh yeah, enjoying that Rocky Road or whatever. And he goes, what's in it? And he's like, oh, trade secret, can't tell you or whatever. And like, I don't know why you would order an ice like Rocky Road if you don't know what's in it, but normally it's like chocolate, nuts, and marshmallows.
Katie, people are dumb.
So like, okay, well, what if nuts give you gas? You can't just be willy-nilly ordering ice cream. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Disagree.
So maybe he thought the eyeball was a marshmallow and he ate it. So, you know.
You know what we forgot to mention? The director
What?
of this movie. Also the director of Edward Penis Hands.
How could we
A
forget?
king.
He apparently,
Mad
I
respect.
think this is like one of his only, or maybe his first sort of like regular non-porn movie. It's got some banger titles in here though.
On Letterboxd, this is the only movie that comes up.
Yeah,
so
like,
I did not know that.
IMDb's got like, well, so he directed it under like a pseudonym.
Okay.
Uh,
That makes sense.
we could do an episode on some. No, we can't. No, these are all bad.
Yeah, I think I'm probably okay.
Oh, you don't want to watch Intercourse with the Vampire
Hmm.
or Intercourse with the Vampire 2?
Oh, a sequel.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, there's sequels to Edward
could there
Penis
not be?
Hands too.
Oh, geez. Well, that's something.
If ever there was a movie that deserved it.
Young and Anal
Definitely.
2. He didn't do the first one though. Oh shit, Sperm Bitches.
Oh, of course. You know them sperm bitches.
Oh man, I think his last movie in 2000 was Hungry Holes.
Oh. Hmm. Well.
It's just a compilation of gay sex scenes.
Oh, okay. Of course. Okay, so the copy ate an eyeball. I would have also maybe liked to seen where people realized or discovered that they had been eating people the whole time, which we don't get, of course.
I honestly, well,
But-
because they clearly set it up as like the idea that they were aiming for a sequel, and I really wonder how much of like they were just like, oh, we'll go for a sequel and we'll have like, you know, a reaction to what happened in this movie at the beginning of that or something, you know.
Yeah.
We'll never
Sure.
know. Hey, you know what? Like though, like if you think about it, it's about time because this kid is probably roughly the age Clint Howard was when he filmed this now.
Small Paul.
Yeah, so like it's
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we're ready for Ice Cream Man sequel.
Let's do it.
Let's.
I say it failed on Kickstarter. We need to kickstart it again.
Oh, did they try to do one on Kickstarter?
Yeah, it was like 2014, I think.
Come on.
And it only raised like $4,000 or something.
I've
Aw.
seen the shit that gets funded on Kickstarter. We could do better.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Even
yeah.
Clint Howard like backed it.
Aw.
I feel like Clint Howard would come back even if it was like flashbacks and shit. or
Oh yeah,
whatever.
he was
Definitely.
all
Or-
in.
Hear me
Like he was all for the Kickstarter.
hear me out. Ice Cream Man 2 is a Small Paul like Frankenstein monstering Clint Howard back together. And now the Ice Cream
Yes.
Man is a Frankenstein.
But he has an ice cream brain, so they have to keep his head in like a frozen jar.
An
No.
ice cream
His-
stays
brain.
cold.
So because he was all chopped up at the end, his brain is actually like his head is put back on in the ice cream cone, like the one he holds up. So now he's just got an ice cream cone for a neck.
He could also have have you guys ever seen those like ice cream cakes that are like cookie face guy? Do you know what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
talking about?
Cookie Puss.
Smoke it. Yeah, I knew it had puss in it. Yeah, his face is a cookie puss.
I'm in.
That's the shirt. There we go. Now I'm trying to think of a way to draw Clint Howard's face as a cookie puss. I can do it. We'll figure it out. Okay, so we there's like also a little scene where we become privy to the information that Tuna's dad is having a affair with this mistress. I don't know if anyone ever says her name. I just called her mistress. But she basically goes up, and this is when she goes up to the ice cream truck and orders for him to deliver her some hardpack. Wow. And one of the kids orders like the Rocky Road or whatever, and he goes back there and like scoop. First of all, again, this ice cream is like so melted. He like scoops into a cone and then just like he's got some random dead body in the freezer. There's just like a bunch of people that I guess he kills that we don't really ever see because it did not look like the greenskeeper guy to me. But he just like rubs the ice cream cone across this dead body face and then like hands it to the little kid. Again, completely melted. It's like running all over his hands, running all over the kid's hands. It's so gross.
I love the idea of just kind of tapping the ice cream on this dead
just
body.
Touching it. There you go. Just like a little rub for good luck, I guess. There's just like this really random scene where, so I guess I didn't say, there's the group of kids, they call themselves the Rocketeers for the simple fact that they literally walk around with like model rockets. And so there's Tuna, Small Paul, Racer, and then Heather. Just Heather. And, and so like when they're all just like hanging out, they go home, and there's just like randomly a scene where the Archangel Gabriel is speaking through Heather's mom in tongues.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
It's
why not?
Needs more of that in the movie.
Just
this fucking weird shit happening for like no explicable
reason. It is like, honestly, it is, because it's like, for what? It's never visited upon again. The only thing that we ever see kind of like more about it is that like obviously we realize that her dad is like a pastor or preacher of some sort, and there's like a service where he's like speaking, but that's it. So it's just like, what?
Like, I think it's literally just showing that like all of the kids in this movie's like parents are fucked up.
Yeah, and like the kids are kind of like not actually latchkey kids, but like kind of, because they can just sort of like do whatever they want. I guess they're like left to their own devices. Yeah, just casually talking to Heather's mom. So after the boys drop her off, they're all walking back. They hear the song on the ice cream truck, and they're like, let's get ice cream. And one of them's like, we just had ice cream. And they're like, can you ever have too much ice cream? Woohoo. And so the one kid, Racer, is like, nah, I'm going to go home or whatever. And Small Paul and Tuna decide that, yeah, they want ice cream. But Small Paul goes running off, and Tuna cannot keep up. So Small Paul comes upon Clint Howard just like dancing in a parking lot for some reason. And they're just kind of like talking. He's like, oh, do you want some ice cream? What's your favorite flavor? He's like, oh, don't tell me. Let me guess. Butterbrickle, which as we know is fake.
Yeah. As we figured out earlier.
And he's like, Small Paul's like, oh, how did you know? And he's like, oh, it's my favorite also.
You're also a fucking nerd.
I mean, honestly. Butterbrickle to me reminds me of like a quintessential like old person flavor, like, you know, like Werther's candies and what is it? Butter pecan? No. What's the one that's like rum raisin? Rum raisin. Like, I know people of all ages love those flavors, but I feel like those are kind of like stereotypically quote unquote like old people flavors.
I just assume
and like prunes,
Travis
you know?
Bickle made out of butter.
Probably a sculpture of sorts.
Like that cow sculpture made out of butter that Ted Cruz tweeted about once.
I will say, I have had a butter flavored milkshake. It was actually one of the best things.
Yeah,
it was a honey butter.
The only
it's one of the best
food.
things I've ever had. It's so good. I love ice cream, honestly. None of the ice cream in this movie, though, except the Flintstones Orange Push-Up Pop. I think what did they call? I'm trying to remember what we used to call them. the bomb pops or whatever. This is like maybe it was called like a rocket pop, and it's like a popsicle where it's like red, white, and blue, and it's shaped like a rocket. I'm sorry, but if you're spending your money on that, that's no. That's like an ice cream that someone just like gives you for free, and you're like, all right, I guess I'll eat it because it was free. But like a fudgesicle, I approve of. Push pop, yes. Orangesicle, yes. Bomb pop, no.
Yep.
Don't
those
spend
are
money
banned.
on that. Yeah. Um. Okay, so yeah, Small Paul and Clint Howard are bonding over being nerds, and also about how they were both sick when they were little, and everything is like going fine. Like they're smiling at each other, they're like having this conversation. It seems like kind of wholesome, but then the groundskeeper's like trash pick falls out of the truck and hits the ground and has blood all over it. So like the jig is up, I guess. And basically, Tuna. Now that I'm always saying tuna, it's reminding me of The Office. um, Tuna has caught up to the ice cream truck just in time to see Clint Howard like pulling Small Paul into the truck and shutting the things, and he's like hiding behind the trash can, but Clint Howard very obviously sees him and is like, "Hey, you want some ice cream?" Well, okay, well, this little fella got hurt, so I'm gonna take him to the hospital, okay?
Good cover.
Right. And Tuna like runs and hides where he finds Roger, who is the little boy that's been missing, who we've been led to believe Clint Howard killed. And he's like, "Oh, it was the ice cream man. I saw him kill that park guy." And Tuna's like, "Oh, what should we do?" And he's like, "I don't know. I'm scared. I've been here all night." So Tuna's like, "Don't worry. I'll take care of it." So he runs home and tries to tell his parents about Small Paul and Clint Howard having killed that guy. But they are just arguing about his dad having an affair and tell him to go upstairs. And so he's like, "All right, I guess." His mom has made him take off his shoes before he came inside, and the next morning when I forgot there was like that whole scene too where Clint Howard is like, "If you fucking tell anybody what you saw, I'm gonna kill your parents and eat them," or something like that. So,
I wish he said eat them.
I mean, I'm gonna feed him to the whole town. And so he's like, whenever they're like, "Go upstairs, like we're not talking to you right now," he goes upstairs and sees like Clint Howard like roll by in the ice cream truck menacingly. So he's like, "Oh my God, okay, I guess I can't tell my parents what happened." So the next morning, his shoes have been left outside, and I'm assuming this is supposed to be ice cream, but it looks like mashed potatoes all over his shoes with like worms crawling on
Well,
it.
Kit and I was telling Kit that like they used mashed potatoes for ice cream in this for like just scenes that it's not supposed to be melted.
Sure,
that's-
but also
That's what they use in like commercials and stuff for ice cream because it doesn't melt under like hot lights.
right, but also like there still wouldn't be ice cream just like chilling on his shoes.
Disagree.
And there's worms.
Honestly,
and
now
he's
I
like,
just want mashed potato ice cream.
I bet that would actually be really
I bet
good.
it rocks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would-
Mashed potatoes cold does not sound great to me, so I'd still try it.
Well, what if it was like ice cream with like instant mashed potato flakes?
No,
Have you?
I'm not here for
Well,
instant mashed potatoes.
I think that they're fine.
Yeah, they're too greeny.
There was I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was a Ben and Jerry's flavor. It might have been like a Stephen Colbert one, but it had chocolate covered potato chips in it and vanilla ice cream and like something else, and it was literally so good.
I don't think that's the Colbert one. I think the Colbert one has got like it's like the Americone Dream or
Americone,
something.
yeah. Let me see, Ben and Jerry's.
I'll look it up. You can finish
chips. Chip ice cream.
the
Oh.
chip ice cream.
The Cinnite Dough Americone Dream. Yeah, you find it. Anyways, that one was so freaking good, and I'm pretty sure stopped making it. But I love chocolate covered potato chips. They're so good. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, the next morning his shoes have just like mashed potatoes and worms on it or whatever. And he Tuna goes to the store with his mom where Clint Howard shows up and is just being like creepy. He's just like standing in the store staring at him and like making faces to like intimidate him, I guess. And for some reason this store, like number one, has carpet. It's a grocery store, which seemed very strange to me. And then also is like fucking packed because Tuna is like running through the aisles, like looking for his mom and can't find her. And Clint Howard's like pursuing him or whatever. And then he ends up getting away by sneaking onto a like produce cart. And I'm like, there's absolutely no way that the cart, like the employee wouldn't have noticed there was like a child's worth of weight on the cart
Somebody
now.
literally just had the idea of doing the POV shot.
Yeah.
It was the Jimmy Fallon late night snack ice cream.
That is really
Chocolate
unfortunate.
fudge covered potato chip clusters in it.
Oh my god, that's so good. I don't care for Jimmy Fallon, but
Yeah, he's the least funny person. Well, second least funniest person on
Yeah.
earth besides James Corden.
yeah, that's fair.
Clint Howard should kill him.
Yeah.
But doesn't Jimmy Fallon also have the Tonight Dough? Why does he get two
I
ice
think
creams?
it probably like
Yeah, what
it
the
was
fuck?
probably the one that turned into the other as like his ice cream or whatever.
Should
Yeah,
kill him twice.
late night snack. Oh, it was so good though. I want it. I don't have any ice cream. This is unfortunate.
I just want the Dr. Pepper ice cream back.
Just go get a Dr. Pepper shake.
Not the same.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so essentially, like, he gets away by climbing on a produce cart, and then the employees of the grocery store, like, save him and reunite him with his mom, where he finally tells his mom, like, what happened. So the cops come with a warrant to search Clint Howard's, like, this is where we find out that, like, the place he's been parking his ice cream truck is the old ice cream parlor. And so they show up with a warrant to check the ice cream parlor. And one of the cops is like, oh, I used to love this place when I was little. Nice to see somebody reopening it. As you can literally hear the cops absolutely destroying the inside of the ice cream parlor. And, like, they basically do all of these, like, shots of them. They're, like, literally just, like, knocking over glasses full of gumballs and, like, knocking over vats of ice cream, just, like, absolutely tearing up the place, and are like, well, nothing here, sorry.
They are, like, not even trying to...
No, they're literally just wrecking up the place. Like, that's it. After he's like, yeah, I'm so glad you're reopening this or whatever. He's like, oh, yeah, sorry. And he's like, are you sorry you didn't find anything? But, you know, whatever. They don't, number one, they don't check the ice cream truck, which, to me, if children were going missing and I suspected that he was taking them, like, maybe his mode of transportation would be important. But, you know, I'm not a cop, so.
You better not be.
No.
You have to tell us if you are.
I've been a cop this whole time.
God damn it.
This is like the scene that's like very strange because the cop comes out and just says, those daisies are magnificent. How do you do it? And this is when Clint Howard's like, oh, I kill cops and chop up their body for fertilizer or whatever the fuck he says. But then they pan over and it's literally like fake plastic flowers, like the kind that you get for like wind, like they spin in the wind, and I'm like, what? what are you talking about? It's very strange.
It's a very specific kind of flower.
Yeah, how do you do it? Then Clint goes inside, and of course he's like upset. There's this scene where he's like walking through and like looking at all the damage, and there's an area where all of the hard pack ice cream, again totally melted, have just been like tipped over and mixed together so much that it's like gray.
Hell yeah.
And I'm
that's a good way to eat it.
He's like stomping through it in his Chuck Taylors. It's so disgusting. And
there's a lot of shot of Chuck Taylors in this movie.
Yeah, I approve. Um, and he retrieves Small Paul from where he's been hiding him in the ice cream parlor. So like not only did they just wreck up the place for no reason, they like also didn't find a whole child that was being hidden in there. Great job. And he also like scoops an ice cream cone off the floor for him and gives it to him. And Small Paul is like, heck yeah, like vile.
Hey, ice cream's ice cream.
Um,
One kid was eating his ice cream with sand all over it. Tuna was at the beginning.
yeah,
Like,
yep. Ugh. Um, and now ice cream that's been melted on the floor and like had multiple people stomping through it
yeah, it's the good kind.
with with their street shoes. I don't know.
And they're like a ice cream that's like mud something, like muddy tracks.
Mudslide?
Yeah, I don't know, something with mud in the title. That's probably what this is.
There's
Mud
mudslide.
cream.
There's
Maybe I'm thinking
I
Moose
don't.
Tracks
I
and
think
something
that's.
else.
I was gonna say there's moose tracks. Yeah. Um,
They both start with an M, close enough.
muddy moose tracks. Delicious. Um, yeah. Okay. So the kids, which are now Heather, Racer, and Tuna, are talking about poor Small Paul and that he's probably dead when they hear the ice cream truck jingle jangle and they're scared, of course. And this is when they decide that they're going to go after him by themselves for evidence. But Tuna's scared because they're just children and he could kill them, which is fair. Heather says this is when Heather's like talking about how she thinks that Clint Howard thinks that he's the Pied Piper, luring children away. So it all comes full circle here.
Finally, you get that Pied Piper closure.
Yeah, it comes back. So they decide they're going to follow him. They follow him to a cemetery where Clint Howard removes what looks like a small coffin in a trash bag from the back of his truck and goes into the cemetery and puts it down on a grave and uses a big knife to like cut open the top of the trash bag in such a fucking weird way because it's like open at the end. I don't know. And they're like, oh, what's he doing to Small Paul? Oh my God. They're like watching and freaking out or whatever. But it's just like a cardboard box with like holes in it to hold ice cream cones. So he takes out the ice cream cones and he's like, just like talking to the graveyard. Essentially, he's like, oh, it's getting noisy out here. You guys having a party? He leaves these ice cream cones all over this like cemetery plot and just like emotes for a while. He like literally just like stands there and makes faces. And then finally he leaves and the kids run up and sees that like it's the grave of Buck Brickle, the ice cream king. He just has lined his like cemetery plot with ice cream cones that he's literally stuck into the dirt.
That's what I want when I'm dead. Someone just bring me ice cream cones.
Okay.
Put them on my tombstone instead of flowers. Just like lay ice cream cones on it every week. So the grass just gets all fucking like sticky and gross over several weeks.
Yeah, all kinds of bugs out there.
Yeah, just a collection of insects on top of my grave.
There you go. So now they are riding their bikes like after the ice cream truck, and Clint goes to the mistress's house. He goes inside, and Heather's like, okay, I'll go in and take pictures. Like, you go find Tuna, make sure, because, you know, again, Tuna can't keep up with them. So she's like, oh, make sure he didn't fall and get hurt or anything. And I'll go and take the pictures. He's like, oh, I can't leave you here by yourself. And she's like, oh, just leave me with a rocket. Remember, we're the Rocketeers. Like, I'm a Rocketeer too. And I was like, what are they going to do with a rocket?
Fire it?
Yeah, I mean, sure, but I don't know. She leaves it on the bike and still goes into the ice cream truck without it. So I'm like, it's fine though. She goes in, she's like taking pictures, right? There's like bloody handprints all over the ice cream truck.
Normal.
Yeah, there's like jars of eyeballs. I think maybe the groundskeeper's body's still in the freezer. Like, I can't remember. specifically, but it's still pretty damning, right? Like it's enough evidence, right? Um, she also finds Small Paul's glasses in there, which she takes a picture of. Meanwhile, Racer has backtracked, finds Tuna, and Tuna's like, "Oh, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Like I can't go on. Where's Heather?" And Racer's like, "Oh, Heather's like at the ice cream truck or whatever." And he's like, "Pew!" He like gets on his bike and starts pedaling off, right? But then all of a sudden, a car starts coming towards them, and he gets scared and shoots a rocket into the car. And the driver goes, "Holy shit, that kid's got a gun," which was pretty funny.
There's no world where that cop doesn't just immediately shoot that child, though.
Yeah, like
Absolutely.
in like modern times, that kid's just blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which,
immediately.
but pretty funny, right? So they obviously tell the cops like everything that's happening, and the cops drive them to the mistress's house. But by the time they get there, the ice cream truck is gone, it's pulled away, and there's like this whole scene where like they try to make it seem like Heather's missing, but she's actually not. Like she's in bed, she's fine, and she's got the camera with her still. And I was like, okay. So the next day, Heather takes the film to be developed. There's like again this whole scene where she's like talking to the guy that works at like the hour photo or whatever, and he keeps like turning to read everything off of like the menu for her. And I'm like, what is going on here? And so she goes back to the house, and this is when Racer's brother Jacob is like, "What are you doing with my camera? Where's the film?" And is like freaking out because essentially what we find out is that the film also had like him and his girlfriend's like nudes on it or something. And so they take the pickup slip and go to the our photo place or whatever, and like can look through the window and see the pictures being developed. So there's like pictures of them together and then like the crime scene photos, and she like reacts and screams, but then nothing ever happens with the photos. So I'm like confused about that.
I've seen this movie so many times, and I have zero idea what you're talking about right now. That's how like much it has like zero to do with anything.
Well, and so I'm confused about this because they see the crime scene photos and she screams or whatever, right? Because then later when the kids are like, "Oh, we have to help whoever," the brother's like, "Listen, we don't have any evidence and the cops don't got any evidence. Otherwise, they wouldn't have let him go." And I'm like, you guys did have evidence, though. You had the photos. What did you do? Like, I don't know. Whatever. Maybe they just
AI
are like,
photos.
okay. So again, Clint Howard goes to the mistress's house and sees that Tuna's dad is still there and he's like leaving or whatever. And I guess this makes him mad because he blocks in his car with the ice cream truck. And when Tuna's dad comes to confront him about it, he waffle irons his face.
Hell yeah.
Which seems like it would be very unpleasant.
You know what though? So one thing we didn't talk about that is upsetting is the prison bars on the ice cream truck window.
Well, I did talk about that
you?
in the beginning, but yeah, because he would like press his face up against it and like talk to them, and I'm like, what is going on with that?
Seems not ideal.
No,
Doesn't look real inviting.
No, that's why I feel like I just like if I saw just the truck, I'd be like, that's okay, I'm good. I do not eat ice cream.
I would go to the store and get ice cream.
Like, yeah, actually.
It's weird that ice cream trucks are still a thing that exists.
Yeah. I haven't, so there's definitely one that like drives around my area, and I haven't actually seen it, but I've heard the music, and it's like really weird because I know that there's like something that happened like lawsuit wise with like the music that they used to play in ice cream trucks, and so now they have to play like what's it called, public domain music. And so the ice cream truck that drives around here literally plays Christmas music, but like in an ice cream tone. And for some reason, I find that so strange.
No, thank you.
I hate that.
I'm like, it's Christmas now. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's very weird.
Finding a way to make Christmas music even worse.
Also, like, right? Also, like, back in the 90s, you could buy ice cream with like change, and like what are they now charging like $5 for a
$28
cream
for an
a
ice cream
fudgesicle,
cone.
right? Like who's paying ice cream truck prices in this day and age?
Absurd ice cream prices.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe Biden.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Obama. Um, so Tuna's dad gets waffle ironed.
Finally.
Gets waffled.
Yeah. Then Clint goes to the mistress's door, knocks on it, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were supposed to do a delivery today. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had my other visitor or whatever." And he's like, "Don't worry, I have a special treat for you." And she was like, "Sounds yummy." And then when she turns around, it is Tuna's dad's head on a giant waffle cone. But like the head and the waffle cone are literally huge. They're like half his body. It is striking, to say the least.
I want a real ice cream in that waffle cone, just filled to the brim.
Yeah.
I agree. It would
Maybe
be
throw
like,
a little mashed potato in there. Yeah. Why
yeah,
not?
why not?
Just
Yeah,
one scoop in the middle's mashed potatoes.
a little
Yeah.
meat shake.
Just a little
Oh,
surprise.
it's like a Tootsie Roll pop, but it's a mashed potato in the center.
I'm here for that. I would eat
Gravy,
it. That
just
sounds
gravy
delicious.
flavored, like
Oh,
stuff
God.
around it.
I'm here for that.
Just, like, we're gonna create the first like Thanksgiving themed ice cream cone.
You know, I know that the candy corn didn't go well for me, but I think ice cream probably could.
Candy corn has never
Oh,
gone
yeah.
well for anybody, Katie.
I
No.
mean, fair. But the turkey dinner ones were, they were probably one of the worst things I've ever eaten in my whole life.
Like, I'm gonna buy us
Uh,
the Jones Soda Thanksgiving dinner sodas for
I
Thanksgiving this year for Soda Talk.
just thinking about it makes me feel
Oh, they're so
ill.
gross. The Brussels sprout one is woof.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I obviously love to try novelty things, but I feel like there's some lines I shan't cross.
Well,
I think
you're going to
I
this
think
year.
turkey dinner. Mashed potato flavored ice cream, even with gravy. I'm like extremely here to try that. I would try it in a heartbeat. What is that? There is a brand that does do weird flavors. I got a dill pickle one. They have like Dijon mustard. It's like Van something.
Oh, I don't know. Is it the same company that does like the ranch soda?
Yeah. Oh no, ice cream.
Oh, ice cream.
It's Van.
Van Leeuwen or
it's
whatever, some
like-
shit like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I will say that like I've tried a bunch of their regular weird flavors. Like they had one that was like strawberry jam and cornbread. It was so good.
There's some company that does an everything bagel one that sounds gross and everyone swears is incredible that I want to try, but obviously it's not vegan.
I want to try it. Oh yeah, I mean sure. I really want to try it. The only thing that holds me back from trying a lot of their flavors is that the container is so small and it's like $8. And I'm like, it's just like a little too much for me to want to try something
Sure.
and then take 2 bites and be like, gross. I was gonna say, oh, have you seen the everything bagel ramen cup noodles?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm kind of curious
There's like a
about
pumpkin
that
pie
also.
ramen noodle one too that I almost sent you for Christmas one year.
I would absolutely try that. There's like, so it's cup and noodle, there's everything bagel, and then there's also like breakfast ones that are like maple pancake sausage flavor or something like that. I don't know. It seems really crazy.
I don't know how we got there to talk about that.
I'm not sure either. Oh, Tuna's dad's head on a waffle cone. And she
The
screams.
classic.
The classic Tuna's dad's head on a giant waffle cone. And she screams, and he raises a big knife and stabs her, but again it's off screen. However, we do get a shot of them squirting blood right into Clint Howard's eye.
It's wild to me that I guess whenever this was released on DVD, they cut out like 3 minutes of gore, and I'm just kind of like, what are you talking about?
Like that's pretty much the gore
Yeah.
right there, all of it. Yeah, it goes right in his eye, and they like zoom in on whatever corn syrup or whatever they're using as blood here in his eyeball. And I'm like, that probably wasn't planned, but they're probably like, hell yeah.
I
That
honestly
seems
think
like it's
that's
terrible.
why, because they do, like, they showed at the beginning when, like, the one ice cream guy is shot in front of him, that,
Mhm.
like, blood, like, hits him in the face and in the eye, and I would almost guarantee that, like, one of them happened first, and they were just like, oh, let's do, like,
Do it
yeah.
again. Mm, why not? Okay, so now back at the ice cream parlor, Clint Howard is teaching Small Paul how to make ice cream. And this is the scene you're talking about where he like grounds up something and it's like all gross colors. He's like, here, put it in here, now stir it. Then they have a little giggle over the fact that the blade in the ice cream mixer is so sharp that it could cut their hands off. Just they have a little giggle. So for all intents and purposes, it looks to be that like Small Paul is now his like protege in learning how to make ice cream, right? Um, oh yeah. So I guess I actually answer my own question as to whether this is supposed to be people because then Clint Howard like takes a colander and like strains out the
Jewelry and shit.
liquid and it's like the mistress's earrings and stuff, etc., etc., that come out of the base. So like I guess it is supposed to be just like the people, which does gross. Um this is when the cops, like the two detectives that have been, holy shit, that kid's got a gun, go to talk to a doctor at the asylum where because they meet Nurse Wharton and are kind of like, okay, strange. They figure out that she used to be a nurse at this facility and that Clint Howard also was a patient there. And so they go to talk to the doctor about Nurse Wharton, and he's like, oh, yeah, everybody loved her because she gave everybody ice cream and she cared about the patients and everyone loved her, especially Clint Howard. And they're just like, okay, great. They leave the office and like it's apparent this whole scene to me is extremely strange. So they are like, okay, well, thanks, doctor. They walk out and like immediately notice that something is amiss because like all of a sudden everything is trashed and there's like spray paint writing on the walls and like as they're walking further and further down the hallway, it becomes very apparent that like something happened there where now the entire thing is being run by the previous patients and like I just like don't really understand what the point of all of
That
it
seems like it's
was.
going
Like
pretty well.
but are they trying to say that like maybe Clint Howard and Nurse Wharton like escaped
I honestly
just like escaped to
don't
like live their own life
think
or
they thought about any of that.
that's
Yeah, I don't think
that
they know.
that's fine. I'm just like trying to I don't know. To piece it together myself because they're like walking through the halls and like the people are like I don't know, just like being unkempt. They're just like pooping in the middle of the hallway and like being just like particular, I guess. And like at first, like I said, they're just kind of like walking through the hallway, like, okay, something's probably like a little wrong here. And then all of a sudden, like one of the patients runs at one of the cops and like tries to punch him and he dodges, but then accidentally hits another patient. And then they start shoving each other and like a fight, like a full-on fight breaks out. And so one of them starts like punching the patients back and eventually ends up getting out to his car and calls the dispatch and be like, hey, this facility is called the Wishing Well. And he was like, oh, so like we need backup at the Wishing Well. And the dispatcher's like, do you have an address? And he just like never answers because the other cop is like up in a hallway who just like starts opening fire in the hallway, is just like shooting at the patients, ends up getting out and they get in the car being like followed by the patients.
The slowest chase I have ever seen in my life.
It's literally like akin to like a zombie apocalypse type
But somehow
situation.
slower.
Yeah. And then
It's
somebody's Go ahead.
I'll say it's so good when they like make it out, and the one guy gets in the car and he just sits there and waits, and then the other guy just like very slowly is walking, and there's a
Yeah.
horde of like patients following him, and he turns around and he just like points at him to try and keep him away, and then he just like walks
Don't-
onto the car like he can't be fucking bothered to deal with any of this shit.
It's so
Yeah,
funny.
and then they're like pulling out, and somebody like very lazily tries to like hit the car with something. They just like don't really care. It's very
Absolutely.
weird.
Absolutely no danger at all.
No, very strange. And yeah, so they just like leave. Okay. Cut to nighttime. The kids are riding their bikes, and they come face to face with Clint Howard in his truck. He says something like fishing for tuna or something like that, and grabs Tuna off his bike and pulls him into the truck, where he locks him in a freezer. This was when Racer and Heather go to tell Jacob, who is Racer's older brother, that Tuna's been kidnapped. Also, Small Paul is missing, and it was the ice cream man. And he's like, "Listen, you guys can't call the cops because you already called Wolf once. We don't have any evidence." And I'm like, "Okay, this is where I was like, okay, you did have evidence. So like, what happened to the photos?" And then he's like, "We're gonna take care of this." Just pulls out a gun.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
I mean,
Sure. I mean, it was 95, right? I guess. I don't know. So he's like, "We're going to go take care of this." So they all get in the car, like him, his girlfriend, and then the two children get in the car and drive to the ice cream parlor. And he's like, "Okay, listen, I'm going to go in there alone. And like, if things go wrong, like I have this siren that sounds like a police siren. So hit it off, whatever. Like, it'll be fine. I'm going to go in." So he goes in there. Clint Howard hears the car pull up, right? So he hides away Small Paul in his little hidey wall thing. And Jacob goes in there. It's completely dark. He's like shining his flashlight as he's walking down this hallway. And it's like shining on all of these photos. There's like a creepy little girl. There's the king of ice cream. There's this, that, and the other thing. Then the last one is Clint Howard just holding a picture
it's
frame.
incredible.
Like this is like this is a fucking Scooby-Doo episode.
legit the best thing in the movie.
Jacob does not notice, right? Then it just cuts to Clint Howard getting into the car wearing Jacob's clothes. And this is where he says, "How's that for a brain freeze?" and stabs the girlfriend like up through the chin. And I was like, this is the best you got for me.
Yeah.
This is the first
Sad.
and only like ice cream pun, and I'm sad about it. Except for maybe hardpack. You know?
Yeah, you should have said I got a hard pack for you.
Yeah. Or so, I don't know. I'm gonna be really honest. I didn't really expect more ice cream puns, and this is the only one I get, which is unfortunate. I don't know. You know, I don't. And anyway, the kids scream. Obviously, I was gonna say like she dies immediately, and I don't think you would die from that. It probably would not feel great though. But
I mean,
you know.
it's depending on how deep into your brain it went. I don't think you would die like that quickly, but
Well, it wasn't. It
Could be a
was
bad
like
time.
up through her chin, and it just came out like the top of it was still in her mouth.
I don't know.
Her
Uh-oh. Katie's
So that's why I said the joke didn't make. He didn't like stab her in the brain.
semantics.
That's pretty big semantics. Okay, okay. The kids, of course, get scared and run out. They're kind of like running around the property where there's like a bunch of like cars, like rusty cars or whatever, and so they're like, and all of a sudden they go,
Oh, Katie,
"Why are you running from that ice cream
your
man?"
internet's going out.
Uh-oh.
It's all falling apart.
Oh.
I think we lost Katie.
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh. Maybe not.
It's gonna be that thing where Katie's gonna jump in, like, but
I don't know.
and then just all of a sudden be back.
I think it's your guys' internet.
Well,
How
it's
about that?
happening to both of us on just you, so
Conspiracy.
I think it depends on your point of view. Let's see here. I haven't had issues with the laptop before, but maybe it's
It
fine
like
now.
just
We are
started,
we are
so
having a
That seems okay
thunderstorm,
now.
so okay. Yeah, we are having a thunderstorm, so I can't unfortunately do anything about the weather. Which I know is surprising to hear. Can you hear me fine?
yeah.
Okay.
One nightmare.
Technology is the greatest.
Struggle is real.
I love that like Nathan's picture is just like him normal, and yours is like some troll thing, and then mine is Heidi Klum worm.
Yeah.
So anytime someone drops out and comes back, it's just like hello. Okay. So the kids hide, and then suddenly they hear, "Hey kids, I'm a cop. Why are you hiding from the ice cream man? He's just trying to help you."
People
And
hiding from the cops.
The only time cops have given good advice.
that's true. And a head pops up from behind one of the cars and is like, I will say it did take me aback because it's very clearly like a severed head. It looks uncanny. And then another one pops up. There's two kind of like talking or whatever, and he's just kind of like telling jokes, and then Clint Howard like stands up all the way, and it's just like him holding these two like severed head puppets and like making them talk to each other and like doing cop puns kind of or something like that. And the kids like obviously are terrified and they like scream and they're like running away. He's kind of like chasing them with the puppet heads. And so I don't know. Very strange.
I feel like puppeteering a severed head has to be very difficult.
Yeah, let alone two of them.
Yeah. He's ambidextrous, it's fine.
I mean, yeah, has its perks, you know. So while this is happening, Small Paul has like seen through a crack in the window. Clint Howard kind of like terrorizing his friends, and Tuna has managed to escape from the freezer that's in the back of the ice cream truck. And Clint Howard's like, oh no, and like grabs him, and then the two cops show up, like the detectives, and that's why I was like, so when I was watching him do the severed head puppeteering, I was like, wait, did I miss when he killed those cops? But then the cops show up, so I was like, oh, these are just like unrelated cops, which is fine, but I was like confused for a little bit. So the cops show up and are like, hey, give us that kid, make sure we can see the kid at all times. And like Clint Howard just like force feeds Tuna a bunch of ice cream so he like passes out and falls out of the truck. And
Poor way to go.
and like seriously, and like meanwhile has gone up to the roof of the truck so that he could jump down and like knock the two cops out with ice cream scoops. And they remain knocked out for the rest of the movie, so thanks a lot. Meanwhile, Racer and Heather have snuck into Nurse Wharton's house to try and hide, but she is like, Clint Howard,
Thinks they're playing a
woohoo.
fun game of hide and seek.
Right. Or, you know, either way, she's like, gives them up. She's like, oh, they're in here, throws them out of her house, and are just like, haha, how fun. So either she is delusional or she's in on it, in which case, either way, whatever.
I think she just like thinks they're just having like a fun game. I don't think she's
It's a goof.
aware.
Yeah, I don't know. So Small Paul, so she throws the two kids out, and Clint Howard is like going after them. Meanwhile, Small Paul has gotten the portrait of the Ice Cream King down from the wall and like walks out with it and is like, woohoo, Clint Howard, it's me, the Ice Cream King. And he turns and sees him and like thinks that he's actually the Ice Cream King come back to life, I guess.
I mean,
And
yeah.
he lures him inside the ice cream parlor. Then like Clint Howard has a memory of getting a ice cream from the Ice Cream King. Like, I guess in the beginning when he got like shot gangster style, like he wasn't actually, he just like wasn't actually killed, but he was in this facility where it kind of seemed like maybe he wasn't, they like wheel him in and he just seems kind of like not comatose, but like obviously like maybe, I don't know, he had a lobotomy or something because he like hands him the ice cream. And this is where he's wearing like the choker that has like a sunflower on it, and there's like sunflowers all over the place, and they're like, "Yay, happy, have a great day. No one's ever sad here," and it's like very strange. Um, so he's like having this memory about the Ice Cream King, and then Small Paul essentially just like lures him over to the ice cream mixer that they were laughing about earlier being really sharp, and he gets like yanked in. And just like kind of slow motion, his body gets like churned in the ice cream machine.
I guess he's mostly just kicking around in it.
Yeah, and like there's not really any blood or anything like that either. It's just like his legs, somebody's legs kicking around slow-mo in the ice cream machine, and there's like sparks flying out of it and shit. And this is when Small Paul says, "Who's the Pied Piper now, ice cream dick?"
Got him.
Yep, pretty good one. Okay, so kind of like fades out, comes back in, and it's like obviously fall now. The kids are getting ready to go to school, I guess. Roger, who's like the kid, like I said, who was like missing in the beginning and then was found, now becomes one of the Rocketeers. They give him like what are those hats called?
I don't remember what hats they are. Like what they look like.
They were like
hat?
Yeah, a propeller hat.
Like if you're gonna call yourself the Rocketeers, you better have a propeller hat.
They're kind of like military hats, but also like the ones that like beatnik type people would wear.
I have no idea. I would have to see them. I don't remember what their hats are.
Well, whatever. They give them newsy hats, and they're like, "You're one of the Rocketeers now." And then one of them says, "Where's Small Paul?" And the other one says, "Where else? Therapy." And then it shows Small Paul seemed like he was fine. Like, he killed a guy, but he was, trying to kill his friend. So, like, I think he's fine. But then it just shows him, like, sitting in a dark room wearing, like a hospital gown and, like, using, like, a hand churn ice cream machine to make ice cream. And then he just, like, turns and smiles at the camera all creepy. And then there's, like, menacing music. And then that's the end.
Yeah, we need a sequel.
Yeah, yep. I think so.
It's been enough time. I did see the
Kickstarter one was going to be Sunday, Bloody Sunday.
Yeah, I saw that it only made $4,000.
I like that title, though.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah, I would have been interested to see, like, what the, plot would have been.
I mean, it just feels like the type of thing that, like, I don't know, was Shudder around when they tried to do that? That feels like a thing like Shudder would like fund,
Yeah, definitely.
Or like before AMC fucked
the
it
name
all
of
up.
The name of the hat I was trying to say is a beret.
Oh, they have berets on?
Yeah. Or that at least they looked like it to me.
Weird.
Yeah.
All right, it's a banger.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think again, people should watch it.
Yeah, it's on Tubi for free. I do also feel like you were saying it is like kind of one of those movies that you could just like throw on and not be like super invested in because, as we've said, there's like not really that much of a cohesive plot to it.
It doesn't make sense, and you just can see Clint Howard do a bunch of weird shit and
making faces, doing voices,
severed heads. What else could you want?
Yeah, they're pretty good. So
apparently Clint Howard would just scream in his car the entire way to set so that his voice was raspy for when he would shoot.
Okay, love that.
What a hero, dedicated to his craft.
I love these actors that like
I'm just gonna do some insane shit for this movie.
Like do a shit ton of movies, but like not like method acting type movies, but still like him and Lance Henriksen and whoever like just doing the most for these like
for no reason
movies that they're probably barely getting paid to do.
Yeah.
All right. I think the only news worth mentioning is Roger Corman died. which is a bummer. But
Pour
also,
one out.
he was 98 years old, so
Yeah.
he had a very long life. Just, it'd be nice to maybe have some shitty people die for once.
Yeah.
Right.
Please. It's been so long.
Yeah. What was Churchill? It's been like months since Churchill died. We need one more shitty politician person to go. I can think of two right offhand that are running for president that don't need to be. Alright. Katie, what'd you watch this week?
Nothing. We unfortunately, like, I don't even know what happened. I feel like I sat down to watch a few things. Oh, you know what? The second season of that dumb show I was watching, that Mean Girl Murders, came out, so I was like watching that. And we are unfortunately in the season of X-Files where Mulder
Robert
is quote
Patrick
unquote
has taken over.
yeah, where Mulder is quote unquote, spoilers, maybe possibly have been abducted by aliens. Like, who knows at this
Dun,
point,
dun.
right? And the Terminator's there, and it has been it's been even worse than the previous season. So it's been such a struggle because like normally we would watch like 2 or 3 episodes because they're like 45 minutes, right? And now it's like we're lucky if we could get one in. We're like really struggling through.
Damn.
Yeah. We're gonna do it though. I don't think I've watched anything else of note.
What about you, Kit?
I watched nothing.
Yeah, I think literally the only thing I watched is the Max, the old MTV cartoon. It's like the only thing,
No, yeah.
and it rocks. It holds up, and the animation still pretty fucking great. Got a Sloppy Seconds release, like did like a bootleg of the whole thing, and it's good. Now I gotta get. They have like a bootleg Blu-ray of Liquid Television that I gotta get at some point. God bless the bootleg Blu-ray people. All right. Shout outs, Katie.
My shout out is going to be the book Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, which I just read. And it's like essentially like I think based in like the D&D world. But there's like this main character who's an orc and she decides that she does not want to be a mercenary anymore and she's gonna open up a coffee shop.
Sure.
And no one's heard of coffee. And I was like kind of skeptical because I'm like, I don't really know. It's just like
No
it's
one's heard
very
of
short
coffee.
read. Yeah, because it takes place in like a Dungeons and Dragons type like world,
How does she
and
know
so
about
it's
coffee
like
then?
so it's a gnomish. Coffee beans are like a gnomish invention in this, and she was like in a big city, and she like there was like another coffee
Killed a
shop.
gnome. Took his beans.
And she killed everybody and took the beans. And so she's like starting a coffee shop like in a different town that's like so far away that people have never heard of coffee. But anyways, it's extremely a short read and it's like extremely wholesome and I actually ended up really liking it. And I think there's like more than that, but it was just like very cute. So yeah.
People shouldn't read. Coffee doesn't exist in the book. It shouldn't be read.
Coffee does exist. People just don't know what it is yet. The book takes place in like the year 16 something or something crazy.
I bet they had coffee then.
They do
They
have
just-
coffee.
they
I just
called
said
it
they
bean-
do
called
have it.
bean water then. Hot bean water.
Actually,
Bean
people
juice.
do call it bean water.
Yeah,
Oh
they-
no, people call it bean. Actually, people call it both in the book. So
Terrible.
yeah, they don't know.
All right, Kit, what do you want to shout out?
I'll go with Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. I haven't finished it yet. I'm only like 100 pages in. But it's really good, and she should have been the super famous fantasy lady and not J.K. Rowling, who
Yeah,
just
agree.
cannot stop being a huge piece of shit that I
Well,
wish would die.
I mean, it also doesn't help that Harry Potter books are like written for fucking children, so like it's not
Yeah.
hard to get popular when your writing skills are aimed at fucking sixth graders.
Relatedly, shout out Animorphs lady. Animorphs should have been
Yeah,
should have
I
been
feel
the
like
thing.
the better
Definitely.
comparison is so many like kids like books like that should have been way more popular than fucking Harry Potter.
Animorphs had it all.
Yeah,
There's an alien
animals
guy.
and morphs.
Yeah.
What else do you want?
I'm saying is right. They morph into different animals every book. It's fucking sick.
God,
If you got a favorite animal, there's an Animorph book for you.
you know how good life would be if you could just morph into an animal.
Oh my god.
Can't go to work today. Sorry, got to be a tiger.
Yeah. Yeah. Stuck as a tiger today.
A shout out, I guess, is the band Orchid. I went to one of their reunion shows. I don't know, Friday? Yeah, Friday. And it was very good. Other than that, everything's the worst. What a terrible time to
Yeah,
be
pretty
alive. All right. I don't think we discussed what we're doing next week, so we'll figure something out.
Should do a Roger Corman movie, right?
Yeah, we can. Let's see what's streaming.
I'm sure there's a ton of his shit
Oh,
on
yeah.
Tubi, right?
There's
It
gotta
has
be.
to be.
Let's see. Let's see what directed wise, what's actively streaming. 37 films. Unfortunately, they're all like the real old, like 50s and 60s ones that actually probably are good / fun and not bad.
Damn.
But Attack of the Crab Monsters from 1957 on there. Let's see. What let's see, we already did Humanoids from the Deep. That was just produced by
Nah, man. Slaps though.
Yeah, that's so good. I don't know. We'll figure something out. We'll definitely do something Roger Corman. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'll have to see,
produced,
'cause,
directed by.
I mean, you got to figure though, even like the stuff that there's probably a shit ton on YouTube that's not going to pop up under like streaming stuff
yeah.
on there. So we'll find something.
For sure.
And
Hooch is
then
all in. He just flew up at me swinging his paws.
I think June, Katie and I were talking about, and I was reaching out to some people for some guests of doing just garbage Lifetime horror movies.
Oh, Lord.
But very specifically, there's I found 4 specifically that have Deadly in it. So Deadly Mile High Club, Deadly Deadly Cheer Camp, Deadly Garage Sale, and Deadly Debutante.
Hell yeah.
Deadly Garage Sale.
I know. There's no way
Oh.
that doesn't rock.
I forgot I did watch something actually last week that I forgot to say the last time I watched it. Because speaking of Lifetime Movie Network, I watched the LMN original Happy Face Killer movie starring David Arquette. And
I'm assuming it's bad.
it essentially, like, he is amazing as he always is in everything, but the movie sounds exactly like you would expect,
Yeah.
being a Lifetime Movie Network based movie on a serial killer. So
Well, now that we're into 300, we're gonna dive right back into the garbage.
Oh, yeah.
We're
We're getting deep.
We'll do a Roger Corman
I'm
movie,
sad.
and then we're
It's
diving
been a long run.
right into the fucking trash pile again.
I'm going to find the worst shit that I can.
Oh, I've
The absolute worst.
my watch list is insane right now, including a movie called Hot Spring Shark Attack that's coming out this year.
Hell
I'm
yes.
actually like looking forward to doing some shark movies, so
Yeah, I've been like slowly adding some real dumbass looking movies to my watch list that we will do at some point, but I definitely want to do the because I'd mentioned it to Katie like, I don't know, last year about doing those Lifetime movies that just for whatever reason got pushed
Yeah.
back, or maybe they just weren't streaming at the time. So I figure those are all, at least when I looked, were all on something. So we'll figure it out. Yeah, 300 episodes of trash. Well, mostly trash. There's probably like 30 good movies in that list out of the. Let's see. I can tell you exactly how many movies we've covered. 447 movies,
Wow.
Jesus.
and I'm gonna say 30 of them pretty good.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, Hot Rod,
Yeah.
Veronica,
Yep.
all bangers.
I still haven't even watched that.
You should.
Next week.
Technically, we didn't do a full episode on it. We could do that.
Yeah, I don't.
Remember when we did Russell Madness?
Yep, I
Oh
do.
man.
Some real fucking terrible movies on this list. we watched some bad shit. What are we doing with our lives? Fucking Skull Forest. All right. 300 more. Maybe there'll be Ice Cream Man 2 by then, so we can do that for
Yeah.
episode 600.
That would be amazing.
Praying.
Yeah, I don't know. If you've listened to this podcast for 300 episodes, you got problems.
Wow.
That's my takeaway. I've listened
Yeah.
to all these, and I'm
I
much
have
worse
too.
for it.
Kit's like, what's a podcast?
Kid's
Yeah,
like,
I
wait,
don't
we
know what that
released
means.
these? Yeah, I don't know. We'll be back with some Roger Corbett shit for episode 301.
Then we'll be back to suffering.
Yeah, then we're gonna. I don't know. Those Lifetime movies, I bet, are gonna be pretty fucking awesome. Deadly Mile High Club has to be incredible. There's no way it's not. I'm gonna be so mad if it's not one of the best movies we've covered.
They all do have like a certain,
I mean, I've seen Stalked by My Doctor, and I'm assuming it's gonna be that level
I would hope so.
of
Yeah.
awesome.
It should be like, hopefully, bad fun.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. All right. Something Roger Corman next week. I don't know. Thanks again for listening to 300 episodes, especially because the first like 40 sound like garbage.
Yeah.
If you made it through those that are still here, God bless you. Again, you also still have problems, and I'm sorry.
yeah, that's all right.
All right.
We're all in this together.
I hope you fertilize your garden with dead cops. But why?